3 years ago, I quit my job to start my own business. It wasn't a wild or sudden decision. I had spent almost a year researching, saving money, and building a prototype of the platform I wanted to launch. It was something I believed in deeply. I was excited, nervous, and ready to share it with the people who were supposed to know me best, my family. So, at our annual family dinner, I stood up and told them. I said I was starting my own company. I explained the idea behind it, how it could help people, and how I planned to grow it. I didn't expect everyone to fully understand, but I at least hoped for some support or encouragement. Instead, they laughed, like actually laughed. My cousin Jurin let out a dramatic and said, "You? Running a company? Okay, boss lady." Uncle Tovas, who had always been proud of running the family business for years, leaned back in his chair with that annoying smug smile and said, "That's cute. Starting a little online shop or something." Even my younger sister Mavie, who I thought would at least pretend to be supportive, giggled and said, "Elisa, you don't even know how to make a group chat. How are you going to run a tech startup?" My mother tried to soften it with a "she's just passionate," but it came out like a warning, as if she was telling everyone I was going through a phase. The only person who didn't mock me was my grandmother Ferla. She looked at me and gave a small, slow nod. No words, just a quiet look of understanding. That small gesture meant everything in that moment, even though I was deeply humiliated. That night, I went home, locked myself in my apartment, and cried harder than I'd cried in years. But under all that pain, something settled in my chest. I wasn't just going to prove them wrong. I was going to succeed so thoroughly that one day they'd choke on their laughter. The startup I built was called Skillora. It was an online platform that helped underrepresented freelancers, especially from small towns, connect with companies that were often only hired through flashy resumes or big city connections. I wanted to give real talent a real chance. I had seen too many brilliant people go unnoticed because they didn't have a network. I launched with no team, no funding, and almost no support. The first year was hell. I learned how to code better, built my own website, handled customer service, wrote marketing emails, edited videos, made mistakes, fixed them, and stayed up nights wondering if I was completely delusional. Sometimes I worked 18 hours a day. Some days I made zero progress. There were moments where I almost gave up, but every time I thought of quitting, I remembered Jiren's laugh, Uncle Tovas's smirk, and Mavie's mocking voice. 6 months in, something finally broke through. A small marketing agency called Keltipix found a freelance designer through my platform and loved the results. They made a LinkedIn post thanking Skillora for helping them discover untapped talent. That post went semi-viral. That same week, a woman named Varel reached out to me. She was an angel investor, quiet, sharp, and incredibly kind. She said she believed in what I was doing and offered seed funding. I used that money to hire 2 developers and a full-time community manager. Within a few months, our numbers tripled. Skillora was featured on a local tech blog, then a national one. Brands started reaching out. Companies wanted to collaborate. 1 year later, Skillora had over 200,000 users. I moved into a proper office, hired a small but amazing team, and we were profitable, something most startups take years to achieve. I was finally succeeding, but the story doesn't end there. Here's where it gets delicious. The family business my Uncle Toby's ran was called Nexora Learn. It was an old-fashioned training company that worked with schools and local governments. For years, it was the pride of our family. Every dinner, they bragged about new contracts or office expansions. But Nexora never adapted. They stayed offline, ignored tech trends, and thought digital was just a passing phase. As Skillora grew, Nexora started to sink. Their clients began leaving. Employees started quitting. Word was spreading in the local business community that they were looking for a way out. They were either going to shut down or sell. So I made an offer. Not as Elisa, obviously, they would never have accepted that. I created a holding company, Elmont Holdings, and used a lawyer to make everything clean and anonymous. Within 2 months, after some negotiation, I bought Nexora. For dirt cheap. It was almost sad how easily it happened. The family had no idea. I waited for the next family dinner. Same place, same table. But this time, I was wearing confidence like armor. When I walked in, everyone greeted me like they always did. Some asked how the little business was going, clearly thinking I was still playing startup. After dessert, Uncle Tovis stood to speak. After some challenges, he said, I'm happy to announce that Nexora has found new partners. We're entering a fresh chapter with the help of Elmont Holdings. He smiled. Oh, I've heard of them, I said casually. Interesting name. Who's behind it? Some group of younger investors, he answered. Not sure who exactly, but they're ambitious. He stood up at me. Everyone stared. Elmont Holdings is mine. I bought Nexora last month. I let the silence stretch for a good 10 seconds. You could have heard a pin drop. I own the company now, I said. The one you all used to brag about. The one you laughed at me for thinking I could ever match. The reactions were priceless. Jaren blinked like he'd been slapped. Navy looked like she wanted to disappear under the table. Uncle Toby's? His mouth opened, but no words came out. My mom just whispered, "Oh my God." I didn't need to say anything else. I sat back down and continued eating while they all sat in stunned silence. Since then, I've turned Nexora into Skillora Academy. We modernized the courses, created an app, and started offering free programs to students in underserved areas. Revenue is already up and we're growing fast. I didn't fire anyone from the old team. I let them stay and watch what real innovation looks like. They know I own it now. Every report goes through my team. Every decision needs my signature. My family has tried to make amends since then. Suddenly they want to know how I'm doing, if I need help, or if I can mentor someone's kid. Some have sent long texts apologizing. Others pretend like they were supportive all along. I'm polite, but I don't forget. Success wasn't just the best revenge. It was the only answer they couldn't laugh at. And now when they say my name at family dinners, they do it with respect. But I'll never forget how they laughed when I said I had a dream. Now they work for it. Thanks for reading. I don't know if this counts as pro-revenge, but it sure felt like it. Let me know if you want updates. I'm just getting started.